Hi, welcome to Rhino 3D tutorial. This is your host Lily, and today I'm going to be going over Rhino for Mac, everything about getting started, and a brief general overview of navigating an interface and how Mac is different from PC for Rhino. Now, first a little bit about me. So I run lilyenterprise.com, and we do CAD CAM prototyping services, we do teaching, and we do product design. We also run Lily's 3D services and products, and same thing. Basically, anybody can come to us with a basic two-dimensional sketch or a technical drawing with some dimensions, and we could in turn turn that into a 3D object. Feel free to check us out on Behance and LinkedIn, and I'll have these links posted below in the video. Now, in lilyenterprise.com/3d.html, you can find our shortkey download, and I'll mention that later, and also some other teaching resources. Now, I have a special announcement, and that is I'm going to be working in conjunction with Mode 3D Academy to provide you a 10-week intensive on everything CAD modeling, 3D modeling for products, which will be hosted online every week, and there will be one live conference call on Sundays, which is 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. PSD, and it will run from October 5th to December 13th, a full course learning Rhino 3D and Autodesk Fusion 360. You can learn more here via this link, and I'll have that link below as well. Now into Rhino. I'm going to go to File, New Using Template. Now I highly recommend starting with small objects millimeters. This is because if you're working with small tabletop objects, it's easiest and most accurate to be measuring in millimeters instead of going from inches and converting afterwards. Or if you're making items in particular for 3D printing, it's very easy then to just go from your millimeter in units object to export into STL, which will work for millimeters, which is generally the default for 3D printing services. But understand if you're working on a larger object, or if you're an architect, to pick any of the other templates. But I'm always going to be picking small objects millimeters. Now this is what you'll open up to, with the exception that the background is going to be gray. I'm going to teach you really quick how to make rhinoceros really pretty and sustainable for I would say your health, for the eternity of you 3D modeling. It's really easy, so I went to, once again, Rhino, Preferences, Colors, and then here I just click on the palette and change my colors. Alright, another key item is that I use a lot of short keys in all 3D modeling that I do, because that's the fastest way of navigating around a 3D program, because I need to be as fast as possible to be ahead of my competition, and there is so much competition here in this globalized economy. So it's really important for your hand to stay always on your keyboard, and always being aware of the ability of using short keys and using your short keys as much as possible. So here are my short keys, and you can import your short keys just by doing this. And once again, I've just mentioned that you can download my short keys as a text file from my site, and the text file will import right in. To add a short key, just click on the plus button, and you can double click to fill out the information. Alright, so now that we're here, I'm just going to go over some of the basics of how Rhino for Mac is different from Rhino for PC. Now, Rhino for Mac, as you can see right away, and if you're familiar with PC, the command line is not at the very top along the whole entire bar. It's actually on the left here. So whenever you type in a command, your toolbar panel disappears, which you wouldn't need anyway because you're in the middle of a command and you're here, and all the inputs that you need will be shown here, which is really clear. I really like the amount of white space. It's very easy for me to visually see what's happening instead of muddling through the mess of whatever is up there. Another item is that, say if I have an object here, and I want to find the bounding information of that. All the information that is outputted is right here. So this is really easy for me to distinguish through my peripheral vision if there's an action going on, and it distinguishes from here. And in Rhino PC, this used to be on top of the command line. Now on the bottom in Rhino PC, there was grid snap orthoplanar like here. It was here, and the object snaps were also here. And now the object snaps are on the left here, which is a lot easier to see, and the grid snaps are very visible as well. Now, Rhinoceros preferences led us to the short keys and appearances. That is in the Mac, but in the PC, I believe it's File and Properties. And when you first open up, you may have this panel which has object properties and your layers. I like to go ahead and optimize on as much space as possible, and if you need any panels, then feel free to just pull up a panel and put it wherever you need that's convenient. To access the show or hiding of any panel, it's under Windows, show and hide panels here. And in the PC, this bar used to be a panels menu bar. Now, as of late fall 2015, there are no plugins that work with Rhino for Mac. So Grasshopper and T-splines, they're not available for Rhino for Mac. So if you're doing any node or modular programming or modular work that are related to architecture or mass scaling, not going to happen for Rhino for Mac, and it's not really clear right at this point how long it's going to be until plugins will be offered. But that's pretty much it in terms of the differences between Rhino for PC and Rhino for Mac. Now, you can see that this is our 4 views: perspective view, top view, front view, and right view. Now we're going to double click on perspective view, so we're going to be able to really get an opportunity to practice moving around in this program. Now my recommendation and philosophy is to get as hands-on as early in the game as possible with anything in life. So we're just going to go to this cube right here. I'm going to click on that just once, and also turn on our grid snaps. We're going to snap as close to the middle of the grid as possible, and just click on a few points to make a box. And feel free to play around that as much as you want. If you mess up, just press escape a few times to get out of the command. Now, I'm going to tell you how to move around in this program. If you are on a mouse, then you just hold your right mouse button down and drag it. So right mouse down and drag. Left and right allows you to move around the cube. Now, up and down allows you to see up and down. Now, if you're getting confused with the 3D shape or just want something different, you can go to View, Shaded to get a box like this, so it's not as confusing which vertices are in front. So once again, it's right mouse button down and dragging up and down to see up and down, left and right to like walk around your pivot point, which is right now at 0, 0 since we just started on in this program. Now, holding down Command and holding down Command first with your thumb, and then after holding down right mouse button again and dragging up and down in the screen will allow you to zoom in and out. Specifically, scrolling up, dragging up, will allow you to zoom in, dragging down will allow you to zoom out. And if you have the middle mouse scroll wheel, you can also scroll in and out, but it's not going to offer you as much control as holding down Command with your thumb. Now, left and right is not going to work. It's all about dragging up and down from the screen. Now, holding down Shift first and then right mouse dragging will allow you to pan around in this program. Now, if you have a Wacom tablet, then we can go to System Preferences, and this is supposing you have your Wacom tablet driver installed. You can go to the Rhinoceros app, and if you don't have that, you can just do the plus button here and then browse through to find your applications. Make sure that you're in the Rhinoceros app and make sure that your right mouse button is in the button that you want, which I really recommend as the first button here, so that every time I tap my thumb, I easily am, and yeah, all I'm doing is holding down my thumb and I'm swerving on top of my Wacom tablet without my pen touching the tablet, and I'm able to move it around. That's a really nice sort of feel. So yep, that's how I move around. To orbit, once again, that's right mouse drag, left to right or up and down. To zoom in and out, it's Command and then right mouse dragging up and down, and then holding down Shift and right mouse button down allows you to drag and reframe your object. So now that we have the cube in here, feel free to move around in this program and try to see if you can focus in all the corners as an exercise. And if you can't, just keep on practicing. So what I'm doing is that right now is that I'm orbiting, panning if I'm not in the middle, and then zooming. So orbit, pan, zoom. Orbit, pan, zoom. And then I'm going to pan up, orbit up, zoom. Orbit, pan, zoom. Or orbit, pan, zoom. Just practice that a bit. Keep on practicing until it feels more natural. Now, if you got crazy with the part of building items and you had a lot of different objects here and there everywhere, now Rhino is going to average out all the stuff that you have in the screen. So instead of being able to orbit around and you're orbiting around 0, 0, now we're orbiting around sort of the bounding area of all three of these objects. If you have difficulty zooming in on a specific corner because there's just like a whole scope of different items, then you can go to View, Set Camera, Place Target. And you can place your target where you want it, so that now when I'm orbiting, I'm always orbiting around this point. And if you want to zoom in to a point and you're having trouble really zooming in like this, once again, that's View, Set Camera, Place Target to place it here. But then if you want to zoom in further than you want to, you can type in Viewport Properties, and your command should autoput complete like this if you typed it right. And if you change your lens length to up to 10,000, then as you can see, my view totally changed and I can zoom in further. But you can also see that I'm in more of an orthographic view. Now, orthographic means without perspective. We still have some perspective, it's just that because of our lens length that we set, it looks so distorted. So I'm going to go back to viewport properties and I'm going to change this back to 50 millimeters, like before. And typing in ZEA, that's a short key to zoom, extends all extents. So that allows us to, the other program is called Frame. We got to zoom into all the items that we have. Now you must be wondering, well, when I first opened up this program, I had top view and side view and all those other views. How do you go back? So I really like seeing everything in this big screen. I never want to work with 4 views. So I don't recommend going back to 4 views at all, but I do recommend navigating your short keys to be able to go to all the views. So As I mentioned before, if you go to Rhinoceros Preferences and Aliases, we can import our short keys. This is where you set the letter that you type, and this is what the first two is the syntax, and then after that, that's the command that you type to activate that command, and then the letter preceding that is often the input that you need to input short key that you need. So let's just go to an example, and I'm going to click on this to sort all of this, and I'm going to add a new one that's going to be called EFF, and it's going to be one that's similar to split. So exclamation underscore split, but it's going to be I. So now I'm going to just do a demo. You don't have to follow along. Now I'm going to type in EFF, and right now I have this isocurve, and wherever I click, it's split along the isocurve. This is different from the default split tool that I have, where you have to go up here and click isocurve or type in I, which is on the other side of the keyboard. So that's work from my I to go onto the keyboard, and then to see where the I is, to make sure my finger hit it, press space, enter. So instead of that, I was just typing EFF, and all this work of typing in SF for my short key for split, and then typing in I, all that effort is saved by that short key. So regarding short keys, if you had downloaded my short keys, then RR space allows you to be in the right view, EE space allows you to be in the front view, WW space allows you to be on the top view, and QQ space allows you to be on the left view. YY space is bottom view, and UU space is the back view. So you have all the things you need, and we can go back to TT space. Now space is the equivalent of pressing enter, and it also allows you to repeat the previous command in Rhino. Now if you were on a side view like the front view, the right view, or the back view, if you went back to TT space, we're going to be having the grid plane like this. If you type in RW space, it's going to be the grid in the world view. Now I'm going to demonstrate how we can how this works in Rhino without the short keys. I'm going to go back to front view again, and then I'm going to go back to perspective view, so TT space. I was at EE space and I did TT space, now in the perspective view, and now my grid is vertical like this. I would need to type in C plane. I need to click on world, and I need to go to bottom in order to do the same thing here as I did in just pressing RW space. So that's how much short keys can save in terms of time and effort. Alright, I hope you got a great introduction with navigating in a Mac program. Remember to practice your navigating, and I recommend having short keys that you believe will save the most amount of time. It doesn't have to be my short keys. These are just mine I developed through convenience and over time. And you can set the short key window here on a Mac and still work in this program, and you could search up the short key. And I really recommend memorizing this, but you can definitely always have this pretty much open, and then you can adjust. I just did 80 space, and now I'm scaling in one direction just as this short key indicated here. Alright, so once again, this is Lily from Lily Enterprise and Lily's 3D Services and Products, and I'm going to be teaching an all-encompassing class with Mold 3D Academy. It's going to be 750, and it's going to run October 5th, 2015 to December 13th, 2015, and repeat itself every 10 weeks for the next 2 years. We're going to be learning Rhino and Fusion 360 and going into making products which include jewelry, toys, electronics cases, and possibly other wearables such as shoes. So definitely check us out in the sites that I mentioned, and I hope you've gotten a lot from this video, and see you next time.